Hi, I'm your host, Anand J. Sukadia, and this is the Limitless One podcast. Join me on this journey as I interview the most inspirational souls who are tapping into their limitless blueprint on a mental, physical, and spiritual level to thrive in uncertain times. If you feel you are so much more than just this body, just this life, and want to tap into your limitless potential, you're in the right place. Here we go, Starseeds. How accomplished would you feel if you made a huge ripple and positive impact in the health of thousands of people in the world's greatest city, New York? Today, we are honored to have one of New York City's top fitness trainers and influencers in to discuss a major health and wellness event coming up on October 1st, Strong New York. Welcome to the Limitless One podcast. I am your host, Anand J. Sukadia. With over a decade of experience, Kenny Santucci has made himself known as one of New York City's top trainers and thought leaders in health and wellness industries. Brand ambassador for Michelob Ultra and FitAid, Techno Gym master trainer, host of the FitAid morning show, Michelob Ultra Movement Fitness Festival, Model Beach Volleyball, and more, Kenny Santucci has established himself as a force within the fitness space. He has collaborated with industry titans across the health and wellness lifestyle space such as Reebok, Under Armour, Adidas, CrossFit, and many more. Kenny has also shared his training approach and wellness philosophy with features in top health and wellness publications such as Shape Magazine, Men's Health Magazine, Men's Journal, Well and Good, AskMen.com, Reebok.com, and Women's Health Magazine, to name a few. Kenny lives his mantra of helping others well beyond the walls of his gym. As the creator of Strong New York Health and Wellness Series, he is the heart and leader behind these events that have already raised thousands of dollars and brought awareness to the community around men's and women's health issues, with a portion of the proceeds going to different health-focused organizations such as Alzheimer's Awareness Foundation, Movember Foundation, and Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Here we go, Starseeds. Mr. Kenny Santucci, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad, brother. How are you? How's things going?
Doing great. Thank you so much for coming on today. I know you're a super busy guy, one of New York City's premier trainers, and we're really lucky to have you on to talk about some upcoming things you got going on.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kenny and I met at my wellness center. You came in with a mutual friend of ours, and you did a float at Own Life, and then we met again at a Wim Hof breathing technique event, and we did a cold plunge together, and I got to experience Kenny's mom amazing brownies afterwards. And so it's really great to connect with you. And let's get going. I know you're a busy guy, so I ask every one of my guests that comes on, what does living a limitless life mean to you?
Limitless life to me is, obviously there are boundaries. There are so many people who are like, you could do anything and blah, blah, blah. It's, I agree that you could do anything, but, certain people have certain limitations in life, and it's a lot harder to claw out of those. And if you're mentally strong enough and have the time to work at those things, then fine. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're all born with certain gifts and certain abilities. And, instead of trying to do something you're not, like, for instance, when I was growing up, I was really into art, and I went to school for art, and I loved art, and I was good, and I tried, but I wasn't as good as, I wished I was. And I also didn't have the God-given ability to continue on and to push to, further that career. Like it really wasn't in me to continue to push and do that for a living. So I think it's a combination of things that happen in your life, and also having that drive and that want to continue those things. But limitless is kind of not holding back on the things you like, right? When you find that thing you like, or you find that that drive inside you to never give up and to want to continuously pursue that one thing. I think limitless, what I'm trying to say is basically has some limitations, because there are certain things inside of you that you need to drive to that point. For me, it was like opening gyms and being a part of the fitness industry. It's like even when I got knocked down, I kept coming. So being in the fitness industry is more my limitless mentality for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into that how you created such a following and became so renowned over there. But let's get into your story a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the industry. I know you have on your website you talk about being the fat kid growing up, and you had like a breaking point. So can you start right over there and tell us a little bit how you progressed from there?
Yeah, just looking in the mirror when I was a kid, I just hated myself. I was fat. I was awkward. I was uncomfortable. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like the way I looked. Um, and this idea that people are okay with being obese today is mind-boggling to me, because even for me, it's like I would get sick more often. My legs would chafe together. I used to have rashes all over my legs. There was plenty of not only visual things and physical things that I had dealt with when I was heavier, but also like my doctor, I had gained like 25 pounds when I was in like sixth grade. My doctor's like, this is unhealthy for him. Like, he can't continue on like this. Um, so that's when I tell people, I'm like, you can't agree with this idea that being overweight is okay. I mean, you may not see the damage that you're doing because it's not right in front of you, um, but it's happening inside of you, and it's causing people to be depressed and upset. And I was there. I felt it. I know what that feels like. So for me, as soon as I had you know, the ability to, I was 13, 14 years old when I got to high school, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to start working out, and I'm going to, and now it's more accessible than ever before. So these bullshit excuses that people don't have the resources is fucking absurd to me. Gyms are cheaper than ever. They're everywhere. You have so much online content, and you can learn from the best of the best people. When I was a kid, this was what, 1995, 96, 97. There was, I mean, the internet really wasn't what it is today. There was no social media. There wasn't any of this stuff. Um, so everything I learned, I was pulling out of magazines. It was Men's Health and Muscle and Fitness and Muscle Development. And I just kind of got obsessed with this stuff. And when I started to lose weight and I started to feel better and I started to see how people treated me different and the way I felt inside and outside, it's just, even when I'm by myself, I felt better. People are always like, well, it's the social constructs that make you feel that way. It's like, no, I felt physically better on a daily basis. I woke up feeling better. I went to bed feeling better, and that had nothing to do with anybody else. So that's when I became obsessed with it, because I feel like in life, this is what happens. People become successful at something or enjoy something so much that the next thing that you do, the next progressive movement, is to share it with everyone else, right? Anybody starts to do something really well, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go and do this and show everybody else how to do it so they could be just as happy. And that's what I started doing. I kind of just fell in love with the process of, working out and changing. For me nowadays, it's not so much about changing my body as it is, because I'm pushing 40 years old. For me, it's a mental thing, right? Like, I need to do it on a daily basis just so I feel better about myself. And, it helps clear the mind. But, there's so much research. I tell everybody exercise science is such a new science in a way. Like, we haven't been studying it for that long. There's new research going on every day as to what the best way to hit certain muscle groups are, certain things that are happen hormonally within our body because of exercise, the effects of cold plunging or doing a sleep deprivation tank or whatever it is, the biohacking. I mean, this is all like pretty new shit. Like, this wasn't going on 20 years ago. So we're learning more and more, and it's like, it's exciting. It's an exciting point to be at within the fitness industry and the health and wellness industry, because there's so much to be learned, and we're learning it on a daily basis. And information is so readily available, right? Like somebody researches something and it's coming out the next day and it's all over social media and it's all over the news and everything else. So if you're kind of plugged into a lot of this stuff, you're learning on a daily basis what's really going on.
Yeah, for sure. You can spend a lifetime learning. There's so many levels to get down into. And another point you made is so good is like it's fucking bullshit that people are glorifying being obese because it's not healthy. Like as much as, media wants to construct this nonsense narrative that, oh yeah, you can be fat and healthy. No, there's no such thing. Like you have to first of all, it's not good for your mindset. It's not good for your body. Your heart's not beating, your blood's not getting circulated. So there's so much of this nonsense going on, but it's good to have people that are realistic and tell you, hey, listen, if you're obese, you need to work on it. You need to get your blood levels back to a good area. If you're not sleeping well, if you're mentally not in a good place, physically not in a good place, spiritually not in a good place, then any one of those cogs are off. Then you're not going to be fully fulfilled in life.
No. And you know what, like I grew up Catholic. I grew up actually not too far from where your business is. I went to a high school right over there in Jersey City. And the seven deadly sins, I don't know what it is for a lot of other religions, but I'm sure there is some sort of parallels there. They all kind of fall, and no matter what religion you grew up around, or even if you have no religion, we could all kind of agree that these seven things, gluttony being one of them, is frowned upon for a reason, right? Like to gorge yourself to a point where you're, like I deal with people on a daily basis who are like, I don't understand why I'm overweight. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's like, I could, I could figure out the problem. If I spend 24 hours with you, I'll pinpoint exactly where the problem is, and I was one of these people too. I would eat like a slob. I'd eat to the point where I was uncomfortable, but it's a psychological thing. So that's why, like, I don't get on people about it, but like, we shouldn't normalize it. You're hearing such crazy shit in the news and the media nowadays. It's like people want to normalize pedophilia and so much crazy shit that it's like, wait, I thought we all agreed thousands of years ago that this is wrong, right?
Yeah, I thought we had consensus at one
Yeah,
point that that's wrong.
yeah. What are we really talking about here? So it's crazy to me that like we even have these conversations, and it's like, look at the people that 9 out of 10 people admire, right? Like you look at these people, the larger than life people, like somebody like The Rock or even the Kardashians. It's like part of every one of their images is that they're in shape and they're fit and they do active things. Like it's admirable because we all could see the good in it, right? Like when I got into the fitness industry, and even now to this day, I still feel like what I'm selling people, what I'm giving people is a very good thing. There's no downside to it. I say there's nothing wrong with being strong. If I can make you stronger, if I can make you better, then I'm improving your life. I'm not selling you some medication that one day might make you sick or you shouldn't take too much of it. Or I'm not selling you some car that I'm like, I don't really like it, but I'm selling you it anyway. Or a house that I'm like, yeah, it's probably kind of a piece of shit. I remember looking at apartments here in the city, and I remember saying to the broker, he showed me like 4 or 5 apartments. I go, two of them, I go, would you ever fucking live here, dude? He's like, no. I go, so why the fuck are you showing it to me? Well, this is a piece of shit. I don't want this place, but you're selling me something that I wouldn't buy. So for me, when I sell people on training on a daily basis, I'm like, yeah, I buy it. I just came back from Muay Thai. I pay a trainer. I pay for a trainer for my mom, who lives out in Jersey. I pay for my Muay Thai coach. I pay other trainers to, teach me different things. So I wouldn't sell anything that I wouldn't buy myself, you know? So I,
Yeah, you're selling empowerment to people. And what's so cool about what your business is and my business, we're only having authentic conversations with people. We're not trying to sell them bullshit.
yeah.
If you use the program, if you're going to work with these services, what I'm going to help you with is going to help you. We know it from the bottom of our hearts. There's no question it's going to work. It's just whether you want to invest in yourself and experience the benefits.
And I tell, like, on a daily basis, I do the same workouts I give to my clients. I would never prescribe to them some bullshit that I don't do, you know? I'm never going to tell you to go run a marathon, having never done it myself. I would never tell people, oh, go try CrossFit, having never done it myself. I need to be able to sleep at night. It's bad enough I don't sleep as it is. So I need to sleep with a good conscience.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things I like about your training style is you talk this about a lot. I mean, you're not trying to sell people like I'm going to make you into like some kind of bodybuilder and it's all
Yeah.
about the aesthetics. You're teaching people about like functional fitness, and you talk about like your own journey and stuff like that, and some of the challenges you've gone through in your life. And you're promising someone just a better life wherever they are. It's not like not everybody's going to be on a fitness magazine.
No, and I'm not. Like I realized that years ago that like I don't have the genetic makeup to be a bodybuilder. I also don't have the self-discipline to be a bodybuilder. I admire the hell out of those people. It's a great goal to eventually have. Like I remember being a kid and looking at people like the Ultimate Warrior and Rocky Balboa and Arnold Schwarzenegger and be like, "Oh my god, these guys are genetic freaks aside from taking all the shit that they were taking. I'm not willing to make that sacrifice on myself." Um, but like I remember looking at these guys and they set the bar really high. But what I teach people on a daily basis, I'm like, I just want you to live a longer, healthier life. I want you to feel better every day. All those things that I talked about that I felt as a kid, I want to give that to other people. I want you to wake up feeling good. I want you to look in the mirror and feel good. I'm not saying you're going to look like, uh, a Kardashian or something. I'm just saying you're going to look, we're going to improve where you are right now. And I give people realistic goals and realistic expectations when they come into the gym. And obviously, the more you're willing to work, the better your results are going to be. There's a difference. I see it on a daily basis. The people who work out twice a week versus the people who work out 4 times a week. There's a clear difference as to what and how much volume you're doing on a weekly basis, which that will change your results.
Yeah, 100%. And my journey into working out, bodybuilding is complete opposite of yours. You felt like you were overweight, and you were overweight when growing up. I was super skinny, so I used to get made fun of all the time, like being like they called me sticks because I was like so fucking skinny. I was like 140 pounds and 6 feet tall, and like I remember like I'd always get bruised up playing basketball and soccer against the bigger guys or whatever. So I like put myself in the gym, and I had to first of all feel better about myself, because then once you start seeing some gains, you start feeling better, you start walking more confidently, and yeah, you'll get the external praise or whatever, but it has to be about you. And then as I kept going, then I started learning about, okay, there's all these biohacking techniques I can do, how to live longer, what kind of vitamins to take to feel better cognitively, physically. So there's such a large spectrum of things that we can go into and learn about. So what is your approach to fitness in terms of how do you manage the balance? Obviously, you live in New York City, know a lot of people. There's a lot of social life going on. So, how do you advise your clients to walk that line of eating out, drinking, going out, and then also staying fit? It's like it's not easy all the time to do that.
No, it's not. And I think anywhere, doesn't matter where you live, if you're going out to eat a lot, if you're drinking a lot, it's going to hinder anything you're doing in the gym. And I tell people that, it's a give and take relationship when you're living that lifestyle. Since COVID, obviously, like I've slowed down a lot. So before COVID, I was going out to eat at least 5 nights a week, 5 of the 7 days a week. Um, Drinking pretty often, and I was at this point in my life. I was working out a ton, but I still always carried a little bit of extra weight just because I was living that lifestyle. COVID slowed that down for me. There was nowhere to go. You couldn't go out. So I started cooking at home more. I was controlling what was going into my food. You could eat at every Michelin star restaurant in New York every night of the week, and chances are they're cooking with a ton of butter and a ton of oil, and then you're going to have a couple of cocktails, and now you're looking at thousands of calories. Where it's like you only have to eat an extra 3,000, 3,500 calories a week to gain a pound a week. And people are like, I don't know where the weight came from. I'm like, I'll show you where it's coming from. You're clearly overeating, and when people are like, I have a thyroid problem, I have this problem, I have that problem. Do those factors play into what you look like? Absolutely.
Actually, I wanted to ask you. So, you opened up your gym during the pandemic. Tell me about that experience.
So in last year, it'll be a year in October that I opened up this space. Um, yeah, I was teaching classes in the park, and I just wanted a space where I could continue to work. I always wanted the ability to work. I always just want, and I don't like listening to anybody else, and I know what I want to do and kind of write my own rules. So I opened this space up October 2021. I wanted to break the space up into two portions. So I have one area where I have a lot of like weights and machines and stuff like that for like private training. And then the far end of the room, we have like group classes. So I rent the space out to different trainers and stuff to teach their clients or to have like small group classes.
Wow, it's amazing. It takes balls to open up a business, especially sign a lease during the pandemic,
Yeah.
when a lot of people are closing their businesses. Did you find that it was easier because like maybe the landlords were looking to rent these spaces out, or did you still experience a lot of challenges with the build out and everything?
You know what? I was pretty, um, you know, I feel like in life you only get so many up at bats, and I felt like this was an opportunity for me to kind of double down on myself and open up a space when everybody else was leaving the city and closing and everything else. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to do it, and if it fails, then so be it. But I'll give it my best shot, and I think that's what life's all about. Just taking shots. So many people want to you know, win big and do certain things and have a quick way of making some cash. I was like, I know this is going to be a grind. I know this is going to be my thing, and it's going to take me a couple of years to build. Um, but I did it, and here we are, almost a year later. So,
God bless you, man. Congratulations. I know it's not easy. I had a business that I had to close down for 3 months during the pandemic. I don't know how it affected me, but in a way, it's kind of like a beautiful thing because you're starting fresh as like so many people are exiting, and now there's this big opening where people now will come to you because they see you're here and you're not running from anything.
yeah, I think that's what I've been told by a lot of different clients is that they're like, you know what, we could always rely on you being here. Like, I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, I want to go on vacations. I could give a shit less about going on vacations. I go on vacations and I'm like, I should be home working. I can't sit still. When I'm on vacation or anytime I've taken time off, I'm like at a gym. I'm like, I could have just stayed at my fucking gym and it would have been a lot easier. I like spending time away every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm not one to like jet set and go around the world. I don't really give a fuck to travel. I find enjoyment in it, but at the same time, I'm one of these people that enjoys working, right? Like I enjoy growth. I enjoy the grind and the hustle, um, just as much as most people enjoy being on a fucking yacht somewhere.
Yeah, you're clearly passionate about it and it comes through. And you have a bigger vision for the wellness scene in New York City, and you really want to, uplift New York City. And I know you have this event coming up called Strong New York. And can you tell us a little bit about it and what was the inspiration for it?
Yeah, so about 5 6 years ago now, maybe even longer than that, I had started this event. I was working with Reebok, and we were talking about doing different events, and I was working with Michelob Ultra at the time as well. And um, I wanted to do a fitness event here in New York because I was traveling to a lot of these other fitness events in LA, Chicago, Miami, Columbus, Ohio. Like it didn't matter. Like I'm traveling all over the country, and I'm like, New York City doesn't have a fitness scene, but we have everything else. We have Fashion Week, we have New York City Car Show, Boat Show, Comic Con, uh, Food and Wine Festival. Like there's everything and anything here in New York to celebrate every other category, every other genre, every other thing there is. I mean, we have dragon boat racing celebrations and everything else. I was like, we have nothing for fitness. So I wanted to create an event where brands can come and be in front of the customers that they want to be in front of, and the consumer could come and learn more about fitness. I also wanted to bring in speakers and trainers and doctors and nutritionists to speak to everyone and have classes and just make it a fun day of working out and um, getting fired up. Like I would leave a lot of these events and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do this with my clients, or I can't wait to teach people this, or I just learned about this. It's like exciting. You're learning how to become a better version of yourself. And I felt like New York City needed this. And when I look at the landscape of a lot of these big apps and stuff, right? Like you look at Tonal and Peloton and all these big corporations, they're all here. They're pulling from all the New York City trainers. So, New York City's already a melting pot for a lot of these brands. I mean, like, Barry's boot camps, a lot of like their leverage in the scene came from here. Equinox came from New York City. Like a lot of the biggest brands are from New York. We just don't have anything to get everybody together. I think a lot of that is because of the fucking ego that comes along with being a fitness company or a trainer for that matter. Everybody's better than everybody else. And I'm trying to knock down that wall a little bit and get everybody under the same roof and listen to the people who are really paving the way for the fitness industry and the health and wellness industry. I wanted to really kind of change the landscape of what health and wellness was and what a fitness and wellness event can be in New York City.
Beautiful. And how many years have you done this already?
So the first one we did was in 2015, and I started in the gym of started in the basement of my old gym. We had like 50 people, and then the second one we did a year later was probably about 150 people, and each year it grew. And the last time we did it was in 2019. We had over 500 people at Pier 94, right in Midtown. It was a great event. We had a lot of success with it, and we had a lot of people like interested in doing more with us. We had 4 events set up for 2020, and we all know how 2020 went. So it all got washed away, and some of the brands that we were even partnering with at that time are not even around anymore. So it's funny. So it's a whole new world. So we're kind of on the rebuilding with this one. But we partnered with Chelsea Piers and NYC Bucket List. So Bucket List is like an Instagram account that has millions of followers, and they kind of just showcase different things that are happening in New York. Chelsea Piers is probably one of the best, if not the best, venue on the East Coast. It's a massive facility. It's got gymnastics, bowling, golf, acrobatics, a full gym, a full track. Like they have everything.
It's enormous. Yeah, it's right on the water. It's beautiful.
It's 170,000 square feet. They have 2 outdoor decks, a turfed out area. Like it's got everything. I love that space. And a friend of mine, my buddy Mike, who works over there, hit me up and he's like, dude, why don't we do Strong from Chelsea Piers this year? And I was like, let's do it.
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah. So I was like, let's do it. So, I started making phone calls, and a lot goes into it. I think a lot of people are like, I get a lot of people who are like, I want to sit on a panel, or I want to do this, and I want to do that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it's a business, and I have to sell tickets. As much as I want to include everyone and get everybody involved, I still need, the people who could drive ticket sales.
100%.
Even for myself, I'm like, I'm not speaking, I'm not doing anything, and I've been in the industry for 12 years. So it's like, I want the best of the best people up on the stage so that, people could learn and enjoy the day. I don't need to sit up there. So my job basically is to facilitate the event. It was my idea, and I have a very clear vision as to what I want to build here, and hopefully next year we could even go bigger and bigger. We want to teach and create an event that people look forward to on a, not only people but brands as well. They're like, hey, I have this new product, or I have this new beverage, or I have this new invention that I want to feature at the event. It's like, great, let's do it. Like that's where I want it to be. So looking down the line, hopefully this is a stepping stone to something bigger and better.
100%. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the speakers that are going to be there this year?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm very excited about the list that we have put together. Right off the bat, I mean, I call it the East Coast, West Coast, like gods of training. Gunnar Peterson will be there, and he is very famous trainer. He worked with Sylvester Stallone. He worked on the Rocky movies. He worked with the Kardashians. He worked with the LA Lakers. He's now with F45. I mean, he is, when people think personal trainers, I talked to him a couple weeks ago when we were chatting about doing the event, and I said to him, I was like, what I do on a daily basis, you're still doing in your later years, 50, 60 years old. He's still training people. And I get asked the question all the time, well, you can't be on the floor for the rest of your life. I'm like, well, why can't I train people for the rest of my life if on a daily basis, a lawyer's a lawyer every day, and a plumber's a plumber every day, and an accountant's an accountant every day. And if they were like, I'm going to give this up, I'm not going to do it anymore. Is there ways of scaling it? Absolutely. But like, I enjoy being on the floor. I want to help people, and I don't really see myself doing anything else. And I admire that about him. And, we had a powwow about that, and it was super encouraging to me because it helped me realize that like what I'm doing and what I want to do, it's okay to continue to do. Um, and then Don Saladino, who's been like a mentor to me, he's helped me out tremendously over the past couple of years. And he's, I say he's the East Coast guy because he was here in New York City, had a great gym here in New York City for 10 plus years. And he is famous for making every Marvel superhero look the way they do, and also some of the cast from some of my favorite shows like Stranger Things. So
Yeah, those
he's
young kids are looking pretty ripped.
yeah. Well, no, the what's his name? The cop
Yeah.
from Stranger Things. So he got him into shape, but he worked with Ryan Reynolds. He's worked with Hugh Jackman. I mean, the whole Wolverine. Like I remember watching the Wolverine movie and being like, oh my god, this fucking guy looks incredible. And then finding out that Don was his trainer and stuff was very cool. So. The guy knows a thing or two about training. And then I'm also excited. I got Gabrielle Lyons. We got a lot of people. We have some people coming back that we've had before, and then we have some new people. So one of the girls that's coming, she's going to teach a parkour class because we have all different genres, right? I wanted to kind of tap into as many lines of fitness and wellness as we possibly can. So she's going to teach a parkour class at Chelsea Piers, but she was also in the new Black Panther movie. So it's pretty cool to have her there. Zion Clark, who is he was born without a lower half, and he's just an incredible motivator. If you don't follow him already on Instagram, I highly recommend you check him out.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff. It's amazing what he does.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Workouts and stuff like that.
So many people who are who would have been dealt that same hand would not have handled it as well as he does. And he's an incredible inspiration. I can't wait to get him up on stage and have him talk to people. My buddy Luca, who I'm a huge fan of, he spoke at the last two events. He's just an incredible trainer. He's super motivated. We're having some podcasts going on. So my buddy Jay's running podcasts, like all day podcasts from the event. We're going to have cold plunges going on. We're going to have a happy hour after 3:00. So it's going to be a full day of like learning and working out. And we're also running a competition at the event. So we're going to give away $1,000. And, I always say like when people get trophies or medals, I'm like, who the fuck wants that? I want a belt. I want like a WWE style belt. So we're going to crown a strongest male, strongest female champion at Strong New York. So this will be the first time we're doing a competition, and the team at Chelsea Piers is kind of putting it all together. But they're just going to be different feats of strength and speed, and the winner will get $1,000 and a belt. So it's going to be pretty fun. But we have a lot of great brands involved. I mean, I'm super excited about the event. Over the course of the next month, the next couple weeks, I'm going to be doing like a couple lives and interviews with a lot of the speakers and presenters, so people get to know who they are if they don't know them already. But there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. We have Most of our presenters have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, and everybody's sharing the content, and it's going to be pretty cool. I really want to make this something special.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I was just checking out the site and I saw that every hour on the hour, you're going to have a different fitness class or an event.
Yeah.
I was checking out the tickets, like the VIP tickets, like it's amazing. Like for $550, you get an IV included, which pretty much you're not going to get an IV for cheaper than that these
No.
days. It's like an NAD drip. Yeah.
That's why I
You know,
tell people, I'm like, for less than $100, a general admission ticket is less than
yeah.
$100. People pay on a daily basis, right? You go to Soul Cycle, it's like $40, $45 a class. You get the shoes, you get a water, you get all this shit. You're looking at spending $65, $70 easy on one class. You could come here and we're going to have dance classes, hit classes, kettlebell classes, parkour classes, boxing classes, Muay Thai classes. You could experience all of this. You could also listen to speakers. We're going to have brands giving away free stuff. You could use the cold plunge. If you get the VIP passes, like you get a couple days free at Chelsea Piers, so that's got value to it. We're also having different drawings and stuff. There's going to be so much value built into it because I really want to make it something special. I want people to leave. I really want people to leave being like, "Wow, that was the best value I've ever gotten." I mean, it was worth every dollar.
Yeah, and not just what you learn, but also like one of the big draws for me is like the community that you build,
Yeah,
right? Like a lot of people in New York City always complain, oh, there's no community. Yeah, it's if you hang out with like fashion crews or finance crews.
yeah,
If you hang out with people that work out, these are your crew. This is your people that you want to meet. So this is an opportunity to really get to know some amazing, fit, healthy people, and especially if you're single, that would be like the ultimate place to find somebody. Right?
And you know what it is too? I tell people all the time that like New York is the biggest lonely city in the world. So many people are like, if you want to go out and drink and meet somebody in a bar, then you're going to get that type of person. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like there's an opportunity to meet people, to mingle, to connect with people who kind of share those same values. So anybody who's wants to live a better, healthier life and meet somebody or connect with other people who kind of share that same value system. I mean, this is a great opportunity because there's nothing else like it. We have all these festivals and all these events that are kind of circulate around food and alcohol. It's like, if you're not really into that, I mean, where do you go? What do you do? This is an opportunity, and we're going to have that stuff. I want people to have a good time. I never tell any of my clients not to drink or not to eat. I want them to live just a better version of their life. I drink, I smoke cigars, I enjoy life. Like, I'm not telling anybody not to enjoy life. I'm just saying this is a good opportunity to kind of learn a little bit more. And the more aware you are, the better choices you can make. So,
Yeah, amazing. It sounds incredible. Kenny, thank you so much for coming on. How can we learn more about the event? Is there a website or social media to go to?
yeah, so just go to @StrongNewYork on Instagram. All our information's up there, anything you're going to need. Um, and the website's the same thing, strongnewyork.com. It's going to be a fun day. So if you have the October 1st open, and what I've gotten from a lot of people is, I have a wedding. Trust me, this is going to be more fun than any other wedding. And we're opening the doors at 9 o'clock. It's from 9 to 5. It's going to be a full day of kind of hanging out and working out. You could come and just kind of check things out, or you could take a class. You don't have to take a class. You could listen to speakers. You could do pretty much whatever you want. It's just going to be a fun day to kind of celebrate your body, your mind, and spirit, and fitness and wellness here in New York.
Definitely. And I will close with one last question. Kenny, why do you think you came here to planet Earth as Kenny Santucci? What did you want to experience?
Oh, you know what? I remember saying to a teacher in grammar school, I get very uncomfortable when people are uncomfortable. Like, I don't like to be around people who are uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. So I always try to get everybody to have a good time and smile. And I think facilitating that through fitness is kind of my purpose, right? Like, I enjoy watching people work out. I enjoy helping people work out and learn how to work out. Um, so I think that's my calling. I think that's the hill I'll die on.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much. I know you're a super busy guy. Thank you for fitting us in.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.